everyone, my name is Jaden and I have chosen today to talk about a job in the field of social services work. Some typical titles within this field may include child protective service workers, youth service specialists, family social workers, foster care workers, school social workers, and even case managers through DSHS who work with developmentally disabled individuals. But today I'm specifically looking at a position as a juvenile rehabilitative counselor at a facility, at a children's facility for youth offenders. My goal in my career is to work and help the youth who come from broken homes or suffer from different mental health issues or behavioral problems. So it has been a dream of mine to work as a juvenile rehabilitative counselor for some time. Today I'm specifically looking at a facility that is actually here in Washington State. It's one of two maximum facilities here for youth offenders. So I'm just looking at that specifically to go off of for requirements and to help you guys kind of see what this field is like. The average income for somebody in this position is about $20 an hour or $43,000 an hour or annually. This is subject to change as one advances in the field and gains more experience. Since this position is with the state, it does offer full health benefits such as medical and dental, but the most important benefits that it offers is that it's very rewarding. To me, that's more important than any health and dental that you can get. It's important. It's important to have a job that rewards you, and in this job specifically, you get to communicate with individuals regularly, provide services to those in need, and most of all, you get the opportunity to make a difference in someone's life, especially an adolescent who typically does not have a role model in their life already, and it's very important for them to have somebody to look up to. For this position, it is desired for one to have a master's degree in a related field, but not required. Specifically at Echo Glen, they do require you to have at least a 4-year bachelor's degree and 1 year of experience working in the field. Specifically at this job, they like you to work as an assistant for a year or two so that you get to shadow an actual counselor and see how they handle certain situations and what kind of issues come about on a certain day. Certifications, there are no particular certifications. As I mentioned, it is very important to these facilities to have somebody who has experience, so that is the main focus. Even somebody with the 4-year bachelor's degree, they may want you to have more experience than others. It just kind of depends on what job-related experience you have, what internships you've done, and vice versa. So on a daily basis, a juvenile rehabilitative counselor at Echo Glen provides chemical dependency supervision for the adolescents here at the facility, treatment for youth offenders committed to the facility by the courts who have a complex range of mental health issues or other services that they may need. They facilitate various drug and alcohol related groups. They help, and most importantly, they help the youth and their families before the youth integrates back into the community. This can be a very difficult transition for the family as well as the youth, so it's important for them to have some skills and goals before they go back into the community, and as well as the family to know what to expect and how to handle certain situations themselves. Other tasks that they may do is monitor residents at the facility. They may facilitate groups for offenders for certain reasons why they are committed into the facility, and they also document all legal treatment files. A job similar to this is a juvenile correctional or probation counselor. Very similar requirements and tasks that they complete daily. For this field, there isn't a lot of advancement, but one may work in higher positions if they desire, such as a director, or maybe even eventually facilitate their own groups or programs for youth that they've essentially learned from working at this position. But within this position itself specifically, there is not a whole lot of room for advancement. So one must really like what they do and is important. For this job, the demand kind of grows as the crime rate grows for youth. Specifically this year, for the year of 2016, the demand for juvenile rehabilitative counselors has actually grown by 23%, which is a lot faster than a lot of other fields. But this could change as, maybe the rate of crime goes down for the youth or it goes up. So it just kind of depends on how everything is going that year. As far as courses in psychology that I feel would be very helpful for a person to take to prepare for this position, for one, I think would be developmental psychology. For me, I learned a lot in that class about the different stages through a child's life to adolescent years to young adult years, and you learn kind of specifically on traits that they pick up throughout their years and their growth, and certain issues that may affect these traits, and kind of just the process on like certain things that are very important to know about individuals at certain stages of life, and how at a certain stage something may affect them differently, which may in the end make them commit crimes or have bad behaviors, versus somebody who may have never had anything affect them negatively and then they don't commit crimes or have problems. So it's very interesting. And when I took developmental psychology, I learned a lot about how home life has an effect on behaviors in adolescents. So people at these facilities, a lot of these kids don't have good homes, or something happened to them in the process of growing up that affected them very negatively, and that's why they, are the way that they are and the way that they behave. Their childhood does have a lot of that impact on that. So I think developmental psychology is definitely a really big class that would help you understand where all these kids are at developmentally, and why they do the things that they do. Another class I think is very important is abnormal psychology, because it looks at a lot of different disorders within individuals, and a lot of youth that commit crimes, or individuals in general that commit crimes, have maybe different mood disorders. There's some disorders that make someone more likely to commit crime. Maybe if you suffer from bipolar disorder, you may be more likely to get angry and go through a manic episode, or go through your depressive episode. But there are some mood disorders that do have an effect on your behaviors and how you act in society. So I think that class is also very important in that field, to know and have knowledge on every different aspect of someone. Internships or jobs that give one experience working with troubled youth hands-on, I think would aid one tremendously for this position. There are volunteer opportunities within these institutions that expose you to the nature of what you would be working with on a daily basis. Specifically, at Echo Glen, there's an opportunity to work or volunteer as a security officer. They have a program where you can be on call. They call you whenever they need you, and you work a very long shift, and that includes going and monitoring the youth that are at the facility, kind of being more hands-on with them, and they really like you to have that experience before you work as a counselor, and so you can kind of see what you are getting into when you get into the field and when you work there. There are also specific defense programs that the facilities provide for you, and sometimes they provide these for people outside of the facility who don't work there, which I think is really important, and other places and offer these programs as well, such as defense programs where they teach you how to physically apprehend an adolescent if there is an instance where they become aggressive. But hopefully it doesn't come down to that, but they like to make sure that you are trained in that. There's also various classes on how to de-escalate situations that you do not get to that point of aggression, and how to prevent those behaviors from happening. So a lot of programs in the community actually offer things like that as well, and maybe if it's not something that you're applying for yet, there are lots of opportunities for one to take these classes and gain that experience before they actually go out into the field and work there. Types of extracurricular experience I think that would be very helpful for this field would be participating in psychology clubs like we discussed in class. When I went to the class for our assignment, I learned a lot about different things that I didn't know, and so I think it's important to go and expand your horizons and learn about other fields and other issues that are going on, because then you're better able to handle different situations for individuals. I think also maybe doing ride-alongs with police officers is actually a really good way to gain experience and see how they actually de-escalate situations and handle difficult issues with people that they come into contact with every day. And police officers actually do offer ride-alongs for people who are interested, so it's actually kind of cool, and a lot of people don't know that. But all you have to do is contact somebody at the police station, and they can set you up with an officer, and you can do a ride along with them for a shift and kind of see hands-on what it's like to deal with difficult individuals and situations. Other things I think that would be very important would be to maybe volunteer for groups for troubled youth. I know that there's a program, it's called Friends of Youth, and it's a lot of kids who have gotten in trouble for drug and alcohol abuse or have other issues in the home, and they provide groups where you can go and volunteer or sit and listen in on them even would be very important. There's also drug and alcohol treatment groups that you can go, and they discuss why teens maybe result to abusing drugs and alcohol, and I think a lot of those would be very important to go, and even if you don't participate in it, just to sit in and see how everyone is, and why certain people do those things. I think that doing these types of work and volunteering and gaining this experience is very important to start early in your college career. A lot of these jobs, especially being a rehabilitative counselor, they require you to have years of on-the-job experience or other work-related experience or vocational work. So it's important to start this as soon as possible, so when you are ready to get into your career, you have that experience that they require. Good contacts to gain this experience would be, like as I mentioned before, law enforcement, school counselors, directors at these facilities, and treatment facilitators that make these programs and facilitate them and make them happen. So being in contact with these people would be very good. Especially, like I said, law enforcement officers can get you into that field because they know, they've worked with a lot of these youth already, and can get you kind of contacted with people that work at this facility, and that can get you going. I think additional experiences can actually give one more knowledge about certain issues they encounter on a daily basis within the field, because when you work with people directly, specifically the youth, every situation is unique, and the more you work with people, the more you encounter these different experiences, and the better you're able to handle unique situations. Because, formal education can only do so much. Classes are focused on facts and more generalizable to the community, but they never really prepare you for the hardships that you're going to deal with when you're working with people on a daily basis. Certain individuals have different issues that you may never even have thought of, that you learned in class, that you were not prepared to deal with. So I think the more experience you have through internships, or volunteer work, or programs, I think all of it can really help you in the end to be prepared for the types of experiences you're going to encounter when you actually are working with an individual face-to-face and doing these situations hands-on. The skills needed for this job, like I said, requires a lot of hands-on work and knowledge, but I think the biggest thing that you should expect to learn in this field, other than the surprising factors of handling situations that you weren't ready for, would be to learn that disappointment is a part of a job like this. You will not be able to help everyone, and I think that's the biggest thing that you will have to learn when you are in this position. I think a lot of people go into positions like these and expect to help everyone and solve all the issues and make a difference in every child's life. But there are reasons why, adolescents and individuals in general act the way that they do, and some you cannot fix and you have to accept that. Some don't want to be fixed, and you can't really do anything about that. But for every individual that you can't fix, there are multiple individuals that you have made an impact on and have made a difference in their lives, and that you know it's the best thing that one can experience in the field, and that's how you handle disappointment. Is you just look at all of the accomplishments that you've had in the field. For this job, I think that as well as handling disappointment, I think it's very important to learn that you aren't there to help everyone. You're there to do your job and do what you can, but you're also making the community safer by providing these services. So the more people that you help, even though there are people that you aren't going to help, you are making the community a safer place for when they are ready to go back into the community and integrate back with their peers at school or with their families. So I think being a rehabilitative counselor does have a very positive impact on the community, and it reduces the potential harm that these individuals may cause to others if they aren't counseled right. I think being a good mentor helps them look up to somebody, and when they go out back into the community, they know that they have somebody that they can go back to and talk with. And rehabilitative counselors actually can help a lot of people, not even just the people at facilities, and maybe prevent problem behaviors from happening in the first place so that they don't have to go through the court system and have to go to facilities. So I think that this job has a very positive effect on the community in multiple ways, and I think they make people be better versions of themselves. And if you do your job the right way and you provide the right services to the right individual and handle situations the right way, you will make a positive impact on that individual, and that's how you handle the disappointments, and that's how you make a difference in their lives. Whether you think, sometimes you're not going to think that you did anything and you're going to go home feeling so defeated, but I think you look at the very few people that you may not potentially make a difference in. You have so many people that you've changed their lives forever, and I think that's the most important thing. So yeah, I look forward to hearing everyone's, and I hope I informed you guys about being a rehabilitative counselor, and I think that it is a very important job in our community, and I look forward to seeing everyone else's presentations. Thank you.